What's the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Uncle RZA back again to talk some Sony. You would think, as much talking about Sony that I do, it'd be hard to believe that I hate that company. Nah, I don't. I'll play it. This is going to be a really insightful video for you guys out there, man. And I feel like a lot of you need to pay attention, Sony fans or not. Mostly the not fans. This is a big deal. So I ran across this article that was actually posted in the Ignorant Gamers community by one of the longtime IGZ boys. Shout out to Skyline. And this was a CNN article from money.cnn.com. And I thought this was, it was shocking. It was something we already knew, but it's getting worse, and it's crazy to see it flat out in the open like this in one article. So the article starts off: Sony is in dire straits. Major rating agencies Fitch and Moody's have downgraded the company to quote-unquote junk status. Standard & Poor's have warned they could soon do the same. The company has announced plans to scale back its smartphone business. On Friday, Sony reported a second quarter net loss of $1.2 billion, and the company confirmed it's on track to lose a staggering $2.1 billion this fiscal year. Now, this article is from 10/31, so it's a few days old. But I mean, my God, this is, we here on the gaming channel, we talk a lot about gaming, but this is something that I think when you really step back and analyze the company as a whole, you get a much more bleak story. And I'm not really a huge Xbox fanboy. I'm really a Microsoft fanboy. So I have an appreciation for Microsoft on so many different levels, and I don't think a lot of you guys here understand that because we just talk gaming here. But if you go over at Lifestyles, where we talk a lot more of the other technology stuff, you get to see this and you start to appreciate how dope Microsoft is as a whole company. And this used to be the case for Sony. I mean, Sony, man, these dudes had everything from the Walkman to CD players, the Discmans, the mini disc, and of course the PlayStations. They had the TVs, the radios. They had it all. I mean, it really hurts as a technology lover like myself to see a giant going through this. And they just recently sold off the PC business, the Vio line actually, and I thought Vios were a really important piece of the PC world. They sold it off to I think it was called JIP. It was a Japanese investment firm, and I hope they don't change the DNA of that. But that's something, when you see a Vio, you just associate that to Sony. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because I just bought a Sony mirrorless camera, a NEX 5T, and I love that thing to death. And my point is, Sony makes quality shit. And I've been saying this for years now. If people think Apple is the epitome of quality, you're wrong. I believe that it's Sony, or at the very least, they're neck and neck. I continue in the article. It's a little ways down after they go through some figures and whatnot. Analysts say something must be done. In high-grade products, they meaning Sony, still have a relatively strong brand recognition in the Japanese market, but globally, unfortunately not. It's very tough to maintain competitiveness of technology. It's a very tough challenge. I mean, this is all true, but in terms of it's pretty much, it just sums up everything I just said, and it really sucks because they're forced to rely on, and this was also indicated in the article, now they're forced to rely on a few key parts of their business. Obviously the PlayStation, which is a huge cash cow right now. The movie industry, that part is doing very well for them, and I think it was the camera division that was doing well as well. And to paint a picture for you guys, as to why I'm really worried about Sony. Think of any World War II movie that you've seen, or World War One, and think of the B-50 bomber. You know, that big ass bomber with the 4 propeller engines, 2 on each side. You could always remember the boys getting tore up by these Japanese fighter planes, and they got to make it back across the Atlantic or Pacific, whichever one it was. I think it was Pacific, with 2 engines. And yes, the plane is flying with 2 engines, but it's barely flying. It's going up and down. It's a rocky ride, but the soldiers in there they're still strong. They still got hope. The people on the other end of the tower, they still got hope. And you know, the people helping that plane home, that's Sony. And the people, the pilot and then the rest of the crew that's holding on for dear life as this thing barely floats in the air with 2 out of 4 engines, that's the fans. And it really sucks to see it be this way. You know, I'd prefer Sony to be doing well on all grounds, because let's face it, if something happens to PlayStation because the rest of the company just couldn't hold their own, that would be a catastrophe. And the gaming industry needs the PlayStation right now. It doesn't need the PS3, it doesn't need the PS4, it needs the PlayStation brand. Just like we need Nintendo. You know, these are things that are solidified in the industry that's driving competition, and this fanboy war that's going on. This is good competition. This is what forces these developers to really push themselves, is the fanboys getting on about what they're getting on about, and the developers with their visions and so on, the engineers doing their thing. You know, we need Sony right now. We definitely do need Sony. And one of the more interesting things that I saw, and I really want to point out the difference, because there's been a lot going on with Sony and people are struggling to understand why. And when I say Sony, I mean the PS4. You know, with these updates coming out, they seem like they're half-baked, and servers going down, games being pushed back, games just not up to par. One of the interesting stats that I read somewhere was the PlayStation definitely was outselling the Xbox, but Sony had a relatively small amount of money or budget for operational cost. And what does that mean? That means their ability to really throw money at problems when it happens, at maintenance, at servers, at PR, like that type of stuff. And one thing when you're dealing with Microsoft, you kind of wonder why it looks a little bit more smooth on that side, is because Microsoft's pockets are really endless. You know, Microsoft is doing well at every single corner of their empire, whereas Sony is not. Sony is split damn near down the middle. So it's not like they can take money from the movie side and say, yo, let's get a few billion. Like, no, we need that to operate. You know, we're doing good here. You can't just take our surplus that we need to continue to do good to help fund this. So it's not a good look for Sony right now, and I really think they'll get it together. And I really look forward to watching them get it together. You know what I mean? Everyone loves a comeback story, and it's interesting because a lot of you guys on this channel and the PlayStation fanboys, they don't understand that Sony's fucked right now. They don't understand that they need to come back. They feel as if this company's on top of the world, and it really isn't so. It would be nice if it was, but it isn't. And that's, you know, you start to see a lot of these silly things shine through, and you start to see Drive Club. But anyway, it's your boy Ramon, Uncle RZA around here. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe. We got tons more coming. I'm out of here. Peace.